I'm a very happy man. I'm a very simple man. I mean guns, and so far the announcements of new skills for Sunbreak for guns got me hyped, but unfortunately, it's not the same for some of the player base. In today's video, I'll be showing the 3 weapons that got people raging in Sunbreak. Let's start off with the bow. Bow gets a new switch skill called Butcher's Bind. Fires an arrow loaded with iron silk. If the follow-up arrow lands in the same spot as the first, iron silk winds both arrows, inflicting severing damage. If the second arrow is off the target, the lodged arrow disappears. Now, if anyone just looks at the footage and not check the description of the skill, it might seem like your character has aimbot on, but yeah, it does not. You still have to be accurate or else the severing damage will not be happening. This would be insane, not just for cutting tails, but actually getting juicy damage in those spots with not so good shot hit zones. Might seem broken at first, but maybe it is not, since it's still a skill that by the looks of it would require a wire bug, and the follow-up shot is only the one that gets the severing damage type. We do see in the footage that the iron silk coming from Butcher's Bind seemed to last really long, given that the person was even able to skill swap and go for aerial aim. This opens a lot of possibilities. Maybe you can do Butcher's Bind and then go for Dragon Piercer? Who knows? Just have to wait and see. Next up is the bow's stake thrust, an attack that thrusts an explosive stake into your target. The stake reacts to follow-up attacks, dealing extra damage to the target. The amount of extra damage dealt is determined by the type of arrow loosed. This honestly feels like a Gunlance move. Even Cowslayer, a Gunlance user, feel that vibe. Feels kind of off that this move is pretty fast as well. Imagine a Gunlance taking a long time doing a Wyvern stake, and then this bow guy just stabs that stake to a monster in a very short time frame. If you guys need to refresh your memory, Wyvern stake is that butt plug you put on a monster and then it explodes every time you hit it. Damage is not that insane, but if you have a lot of butt plugs altogether, it becomes pretty nasty. Imagine 4 bow players putting all their butt plugs in one location. We might see some juicy plays out there in the future. So far, the community's been pretty positive about this, and yeah. Positive for me is the community complaining if a weapon is getting more overpowered. It's a PvE game after all. I don't see the whole point of balancing weapons out in a PvE game. No one is stopping you from using these OP weapons anyway except for yourself. I'm excited for the demo of Sunbreak, and hopefully we can grab a feel of these skills for ourselves. Next would be the Greatsword. Greatsword gets the all-new strong arm stance. Attack if used while charging allows you to quickly parry an attack and then unleash a fierce onslaught afterwards. I have no idea what they mean by fierce onslaught because no new move comes out of it in the video. We just see the hunter doing the stance and going into a TCS. That's usually something you see happening when shoulder tackling to cancel a charge to hyper armor your way through an attack. But maybe this one doesn't give chip damage, and by the looks of it, it looks faster than doing the shoulder charge and also costs you a wire bug as well. The animation to me kind of looks janky. It's as if the Greatsword user is going for a feint. As you can see in the footage, it's charging up its TCS, and then it seems like it was going to release that TCS and then it stopped midway. The Surge Slash combo is getting mixed reactions from the Greatsword chads. This is an offensive style that combines speed with the weight of the weapon to unleash a stream of powerful slashes. In the footage, it indeed looks like it can allow a large number of combos. Some of them look different in the footage. Instead of going for more sluggish charges with the Greatsword, the MH developers pretty much took a leap here and implemented a radical change to the Greatsword playstyle. I've pretty much stayed away from the Greatsword because it's really not simple to use in my eyes. Most would say it's easy because you can tackle through everything and it's just charging with a single button. In a way, that is true, but if you really want to master the playstyle, proper positioning and timing is needed to get the most beautiful looking Greatsword hunts. The other half of the community feels a bit awkward with these skills that are introduced in the trailer, while the other half welcomes it with open arms. Would these switch skills change the very essence of Greatsword for good or for bad? We'll probably get some clarification how these skills feel in the actual hunts once Capcom releases a demo for us. Regardless, I'm hyped. Like I said earlier, I've stayed away from Greatsword because I feel like the learning curve for me would be really slow. I'm not saying Greatsword would be as brain dead as my beloved guns. It's just that when I played Elden Ring, I kept playing Colossal Swords, so I'm getting fond of big ass swords. So I'll try to grab a feel of this weapon in Sunbreak. And of course, come on man, Carrying a huge heap of iron does make you feel like Guts from Berserk. Last but not least, but technically least in something, Charge Blade. In the start of Rise, people have been raging already regarding Charge Blade. To get an idea what people are complaining about, Sarah made a video about it. Might as well check it out. Now, I'm not some Charge Blade speedrunner, but it is one of the melee weapons that I really tried out there and enjoyed, especially in World. I know it's hard to believe because I'm a guy who loves pressing just one button, but hitting a guard point is sexy. Hitting those explosive SAEDs, sexier. Savage Axe, nutty. But it really doesn't have the same feel in Rise. Anyway, for a switch skill, Charge Blade gets Firing Pin, lowers the pressure of elemental energy generated through shield thrust during elemental boost or by sword attack while in sword boost mode. Elemental energy generated builds up on your target but disappears over time. Can be detonated by any attack in axe mode, extending the time limit of elemental boost. Bulk of my Charge Blade experience is in World, so in my eyes I don't see the difference between this and the other switch skill aside from the blinking butt plug you attach on the monster, and also that your slashes do not explode no more unless you go slash the monster in the same spot with an axe attack. Looks like the decreased pressure that was mentioned in the description would be a detail that we would feel if we get to try this thing out in the demo. Who knows? The new Silk Bind, Ready Stance, seems like one of the biggest letdowns so far. It caused wire bugs, and it technically is just a guard point that doesn't require the exact timing of a guard point. Is what I'm saying making any sense? I hope it does. With the Ready Stance, after guarding, a heavy knockback leaves you in sword mode and lowers your guard reaction so you are able to chain sword/axe attacks. Yep, I'm not a CB main, but it really means it's just guard point. Looks like Charge Blade got the shortest straw once again. This new Ready Stand seems like something that might not be used. I hope Capcom still has something up their sleeve for the Charge Blade chads out there. It is still, in my eyes, one of the coolest melee weapons out there, and indeed one of the fun and satisfying ones I've tried, especially in World. But in Rise, my use of this weapon is still at 0. There seemed to be nothing making it unique from the other weapons at this point, since pretty much everything has sort of a counter now. Even this random Charge Blade user I saw on Twitter is saying that he might be making the switch to Switch Axe. So TLDR, bow got more broken. Greatsword tries to be more unga bunga. Charge Blade is now in the bear market. That's all I have for the video. Bear in mind that I am a hunter that spent most of my time miles away from the monster, and most of my other time zoomed into the monster's face. Hence, a high chance of my opinion to be completely different from yours. Thank you for watching the video. See you in the next one.